Blake Lively might have just done herself in this battle with Justin Baldoni, although she didn't do it intentionally. Was something she said
long before she ever worked with Justin Baldoni.
Right, but there's something she said that has now been resurfaced, and it is right on the nose as far as what the issues are in her battle with Justin Baldoni.
Who's really winning this war between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni? The powerful smear machine is still going, but what's really crazy is this new person she hired. We got a lot to discuss.
Well, it seems like Blake Lively's lawyer bailed on her in a hurry after Justin Baldoni's team allegedly hit them with some unexpected and damning evidence. Reports suggest that once Blake's lawyer caught wind of the new evidence Justin's team was about to drop, they made a swift exit, faster than Blake could say "it ends with us." No lawyer wants to risk their reputation fighting a case built on smoke and mirrors.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie.
Blake allegedly didn't just lie to the media and twist facts in the lawsuit, she also misled her own lawyer about crucial details, putting them under immense pressure. But that's not all. She reportedly insulted her lawyer, questioned their abilities, and even made excuses to avoid paying them. Imagine treating the very person who's supposed to defend you in court like that. Make it make sense now. Let's get into the drama. After Blake filed her shady lawsuit against Justin and had major media outlets like the New York Times practically endorsing her, she likely thought she had already won. Her lawyer, Meryl Konensky, probably believed the same, until Justin's team dropped a mountain of evidence debunking every single claim she made. Once the truth came out, the public quickly turned on Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, shifting from yay to nay. But behind the scenes, things were even messier. And trust me, you're not ready for the wild twists this case takes. Konensky reportedly quit after realizing the case was riddled with holes and wouldn't stand up in court. But what really pushed her over the edge? The way Blake allegedly treated her while she was trying to build a defense.
William Morris's CEO, Ari Emanuel, made it seem like a moral act of loyalty. Like that exists in Hollywood. He heaped praise on Ryan and Blake as soulfully beautiful people. Flawless, really. He mocked Baldoni in the process. He said, it's an effed up bad situation with what Baldoni, whatever his name is doing. Now, he said Lively and Reynolds are good people. They've been in the business for decades and have never had any bad press about them, and all the people that work with them like them.
By now, you'll already know, Blake is the mean girl of Hollywood. For some reason, almost everyone she's worked with has a bad or weird story about her. Every resurfaced interview seems to show her making a snarky or outright rude comment, and at this point, her career is basically a museum of burned bridges. At first, when clips of Blake being mean started making the rounds, her team scrambled to do damage control. They tried to spin it like, oh, Blake just has an unusual sense of humor that not everyone gets, or she's actually super shy, and her jokes just come out wrong. But let's be real, you can only use that excuse for so long. Eventually, it became crystal clear that Blake isn't some innocent, misunderstood soul. She's a grown woman who seriously lacks self-awareness and emotional intelligence, and here's the thing, no one can hide that kind of behavior forever. Sooner or later, the mask slips, and the world sees you for who you really are.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
And they are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are
you like the movie? Are you a Woody Allen fan?
I love most of his movies, and this one was so visually amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Did you guys love wearing those kind of clothes that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And working in digital.
Everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
Even her co-star couldn't hide their reaction, rolling their eyes and looking absolutely disgusted when Blake made that comment. But honestly, what else do you expect from someone who openly called her co-stars monkeys and mocked Leighton Meester for being born in prison? Yes, you heard that right. During the Gossip Girl press tour, Blake shamelessly brought up Leighton's background, turning it into the punchline of her poorly delivered jokes. Classy, right?
I'm going to start with you. Most of us, if we're lucky enough to run into a celebrity in public, we only have a few moments to maybe speak with you guys. But for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people, and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you, and then we could I'm just curious
Just social security number.
I'm a Virgo, so I'm like, are we talking logistics? Are we talking emotional?
Blake bringing up Leighton's past wasn't shocking. Leighton had openly talked about being born in prison before, but what was shocking was Blake acting like it was her right to turn it into a joke. And come to find out, Blake had been mean to Leighton the entire time they worked together. According to reports, there was serious tension between the two on set, so much so that other cast members felt pressured to pick sides. On screen, Blake and Leighton played best friends, but off-screen, that friendship was non-existent. Some chalked it up to personality differences, Blake being the outgoing one while Leighton was more introverted, but if you watch their press interviews, it's obvious there was way more to it than that. Blake's mean girl behavior didn't stop there. On the set of It Ends With Us, she allegedly pressured cast members to take her side whenever she had issues with someone and constantly tried to control the movie's creative direction. Rumor has it, Blake wanted Justin's director's chair for herself and would guilt-trip and bully him into letting her change the script, sometimes behind his back, and when Blake finally hit Justin with that explosive lawsuit, the red flags were immediate. One of the biggest? It looked like she was bribing the media to spin the narrative in her favor. Take the New York Times, for example. Just hours after Blake filed her lawsuit, they published an article titled "We Can Bury Anyone" inside a Hollywood smear machine. People were side-eyeing Blake hard because it really seemed like she had fed them details about the case in advance. I mean, how else could they have read the lawsuit, fact-checked everything, written a full expose, and published it less than 24 hours after she filed?
There was an article recently saying that Leighton and I were frenemies, and it's
frenemies. Is that the new term, frenemies?
Yeah, we're friends, but we're also enemies, and it's really strange because they always want to pit women against each other. You don't hear about like Penn and Chase hating each other and being jealous and competitive.
I think I'm just brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway. A moment by me.
Remember Savannah.
It was another promise was no pet monkey. Yeah. Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them. Come on, it was a joke. Lord have mercy.
Your wardrobe? That is important. Very good.
It's very important.
This is wardrobe.
This is wardrobe. This was on the return rack. I think it was hers. So I had to go and like slip them cash to wear it today.
Something about the New York Times article just didn't add up. It crossed multiple ethical lines in journalism, and if you've read it, you know it was heavily biased against Justin. The way it was written, you'd think the case had already been tried and Justin had been found guilty in court, when in reality, the lawsuit had been filed just hours before. That's not just irresponsible journalism, that's actively creating the kind of smear machine they were accusing Justin of running. And if that wasn't bad enough, in their rush to drop the story before anyone else, the Times didn't even give Justin, his business partner Steve Sarowitz, or Wayfair Studios a chance to respond. At a certain point, bad faith journalism isn't just unethical, it's deliberate sabotage. So, it's no surprise that Justin didn't wait long before hitting back with a $400 million lawsuit against the New York Times, Blake, and Ryan, accusing them of publishing what he called a factory article designed to destroy his reputation. And let's be clear, this article did have a devastating effect on him. Since it was released before most people even knew about the lawsuit, it completely shaped the public's perception of Justin. It's like making an accusation against someone and then blasting a town crier to declare them guilty. After that, no matter what the accused says, they'll always be viewed as a liar. And don't even get me started on Blake's shady behavior throughout this case. Many of the proof that she included in her lawsuit was shaky at best. Why did she redact key parts of the text messages she submitted as evidence? Why did her supposed HR complaints have missing dates and time stamps? It was giving I'm only going to show the side of the story that benefits me.
Spoken out against the New York Times in newly obtained court documents. And I read what happened, so you don't have to. Baldoni has stated that a jury must decide if the New York Times is responsible for its involvement with his ongoing legal battle against Blake Lively. In court documents filed on Friday, March 14th, Justin Baldoni has stated that the New York Times has long presumed itself beyond accountability, not here, and that the New York Times went past merely reporting. He then went on that the New York Times actively vouched for the veracity of its false narrative by publishing Blake Lively's complaint in full, and that the fair report privilege that the New York Times seeks to hide behind does not protect it from liability for maliciously colluding with Lively and her cohort to publish a false and defamatory hit piece about the Wayfarer parties, wrongly casting them as villains and making them scapegoats for Lively's well-publicized media missteps. The New York Times responded in a statement to us, stating that the flaws in the Wayfarer Baldoni case were made clear last week in their own legal filing when they asked the court for yet another opportunity to amend their complaint to try and make it legally sufficient.
And wouldn't you know it? It didn't take long for Blake to be exposed. All Justin had to do was drop behind-the-scenes videos and screenshots of text messages, and just like that, Blake's case started falling apart at the seams. And get this, Blake's team is now allegedly scrambling to get Justin and his lawyers in the same room to discuss a potential settlement. After all the damage this battle has caused, whatever's left of Blake's legal team seems to have realized they're fighting a losing war. Honestly, it makes perfect sense that they're trying to settle quietly and keep everything hush-hush. If you were forced to accept that your client had been misrepresenting the truth and exaggerating facts since day one, wouldn't you start looking for an exit strategy?
Let me ask you, what are the dates of these HR complaints? Do you know the dates?
There's no dates. The dates are redacted. The names of the complainants are redacted, except for on one of them, there's an M. And in Blake's original, when she went to Sony, and by the way, they're not to Wayfarer Studios, Justin's company, they're to Sony, the distributor, to their HR department, and there's an M in there, which means at least one of the other ones came around the same time. If it's May, unless it was March, but probably May, same time as Blake.
But here's the twist. Justin's lawyer, Brian Friedman, isn't even considering a settlement. It's not on the table, not up for discussion, not something they're even willing to think about. And we'll tell you WHY.in a recent appearance on the Town podcast with Matthew Baldoni, Friedman explained in detail why Justin refuses to settle. According to him, Blake's accusations have done serious damage, not just to Justin's reputation and finances, but also to his mental and emotional well-being, and even to his wife and kids. He made it clear that this legal battle isn't just some Hollywood circus that can be wrapped up with a few money envelopes before everyone moves on with their lives. Too much is at stake, and too much damage has already been done. Friedman even posed a question: what amount of money could really make this go away? Can you even put a price on the harm that's been done to Justin, his family, and his career because of Blake's allegations? The only way Justin sees even a shred of justice is by taking this fight to court. He wants a jury to hear both sides and decide for themselves who's telling the truth and who's using their power to run a smear campaign. At this point, the bigger surprise would be if Blake's lawyer actually keeps fighting this case. Even her own husband, Ryan Reynolds, isn't about to go down with her sinking ship. He's reportedly asked to be removed from all the lawsuits. Basically, he's saying, this ain't my fight, so why am I in it?
I looked through every document, every email, every text message, listened to stories, listened to the history of what he's been through, listened to voice notes, and really try to evaluate, the strength of the defense of the case. And frankly, in this case, the strength of his claims. And like a lawyer is obligated to do, really want to make sure that I go through, as much as possible to really understand what exactly happened, or at least what it seems like happened.
But what do you think? Will Blake manage to find another lawyer to take up her case, or is this the end of the road for her legal battle against Justin? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to check out our next video.
Ryan Reynolds and his motion to dismiss. I was waiting for Brian Friedman's response to Ryan Reynolds now wanting out of the lawsuit, and we finally got it. Friedman told TMZ Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse. Mr. Reynolds was a key player in the scheme, defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME into dropping Justin as a client and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible. He goes on to say his fingerprints have been all over the smear campaign against Justin and the Wayfarer team since day one. Mr. Reynolds now attempts to reduce plainly cognizable claims to hurt feelings, sending a clear message that bullying is acceptable. After lighting a match, Mr. Reynolds now seeks to run from the flames. It won't work. The Wayfarer party's claims against him are real and they are serious. Mr. Reynolds can appear on as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make a light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions. I love that Brian Friedman is not afraid to speak his mind, speak the truth, and I love how much he defends Justin Baldoni. Obviously, I know he's Justin's lawyer, he's getting paid probably really good money, but he really goes and fights for Justin. And I agree with every single word that